Hello, NSL world, and Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a really good time. If you've got some time off with your family, obviously the grind of the NSL world has stopped temporarily, which is a good and a bad thing. Um, but yeah, hello to everyone. We haven't um, put together a pod in Portland for a while. Have a little bit of downtime due to holidays. Thought I'd put some thoughts out there, recap how I feel my team's going, recap the state of the league, um, hint on some storylines that might unfold as the season goes on, but just talk NSL, talk shop because I know everybody um, loves the league, loves talking about the league, thinking about the league. So 5, 6 weeks in, if you'd said to me that my team would be on top, I'd be pleasantly surprised. I think we worked really hard to put together a team that made sense, that really fitted together, that was quite complementary. We've been fortunate that, that Durant's been obviously incredible, but really durable thus far, touch wood. Um, Obviously, he's our best player. Even when um, we complete a trade in a few weeks' time, he's still the best player on my team. And I'll speak more about that trade a little bit later after I've covered the team and how they've gone so far. So I only realized the other day when there was a comment about only one or two teams have had their preferred starting five for the whole season, and it just dawned on me that I had a different starting five for every single week, purely based on people being out. James Harden has missed. Sorry, I'm just checking now. James Harden has missed 3 weeks. Pirtle has missed two. Drummond has missed one. So that they did not overlap. It was Drummond out week one, um, Pirtle out week two, I believe. Harden was back. Um, then Harden out weeks 3 and 4. He's back week 5. Pirtle's out again. So I'm looking forward to actually having my full starting five to see what they can do. We've lost a little bit of the shine that saw us scoring 115, 116 points a game at the start of the year, and we seem to be just grinding. But hey, winning. I'm not going to cry poor because we're not dismantling teams like we may have in the past. It's a totally different game. So looking at my roster, my players, we really haven't made a trade since the off season, aside from getting Bogdanovic in for Pat Beverley, which I'd been talking to Jason the Jazz for a long time about possibly getting him in to bolster my guards. He's looked pretty good. Only issue with him is his health, but so far so good in the NBA. Yeah, so Durant so far this season, 26 points per game, 6 boards, 3 assists, 1.6 blocks. So and he had a really bad week this week, really poor for his standards, shooting 46% from the field, 17 points a game, 1 for 12 threes. Yeah, something was just abysmally off with 3-point shooting in my team the last week of NSL action, and it seemed to be across a lot of the league as well, which is a bit disappointing. But the 2K game does evolve as we progress through the season. So obviously, massive tick. Durant's my guy, my favorite player, and our best player. Now, Harden missed half the season so far, but has been fantastic when he's played. And honestly, and I said I'd talk about this trade a little bit more when it got to the right time, but I'm not sure I would do the he who must not be named deal, the LeBron deal, if I knew what I know now. So obviously I advocated for position restrictions, to be quite light, because let's face it, a guy like LeBron is a point guard if he needs to be. I really do like what the admins came up with as a compromise. I think it's really reasonable, and I do like that there's restrictions in place. It's just making that deal when I did, that was a lot of the upside was his ability to be an unstoppable point guard. So I instantly lost value in that trade as soon as that rule came in, which sucks. And Harden became more valuable, but he was already spoken for and gone. And seeing what I'm seeing so far, Harden just scores with ease. Yes, he's terrible on defense, but he's a great playmaker, and the ease with which he scores. Yeah, if I could redo that deal, I probably would. I've moved that a really high pick in that deal as well, um, which turned into Matherin and helped Nels close another really big deal. Um, Maybe I'm sentimental because I love Harden and he's been my guy for 4 years, but yeah, LeBron, I haven't quite cracked him yet. And if you look at his stats, even with the Spurs, shoots under 50%, heaps of jump shots. Um, Obviously, he's very versatile and huge and very good, but the LeBrons from the previous years were just absolute steam trains. So whether it's our settings or whether it's um, just the 2K23 version, is very complacent on offense and doesn't seek out to be aggressive. Whereas I've watched Harden just bully and with layups and like bully past people to pull up for jumpers and stuff. So maybe it's a small sample size. Maybe it's because of my team environment, but gee, I'm gonna miss Harden, and it just stings even more to obviously be trading it to a Spurs team that's trying to beat me. But yeah, to lose the value of the positional stuff and then to lose the value of um probably selling a little bit low on Harden because of the weird off-season uncertainty that he had. But credit to Nels. I still am excited about the deal in the sense that it'll be really nice to own LeBron. I think he's just an absolute marvel when it comes to what he's done on a basketball court. And I'll obviously do everything I can to maximize him. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Stars aren't what they used to be in 2K. It's a lot more about team depth and balance, I think, which is probably good for the league. It's just, not great if you're a team that's just depending on stars, but it just makes it really interesting. And that's part of the game, is evolving and reacting each year to the changes that 2K brings. I digressed, but Harden, he's been amazing. Scoring the same amount as Durant, better efficiency somehow, which is crazy. And yeah, three boards, 5 assists. He's been amazing. So I've got a few more weeks with him, and then I'll have to ship him out. But most winningest player in the NSL. So I'll be really, really sad to see him go. Drummond, who arguably equal favorite of mine with Durant and Harden. Obviously, he's always going to be my favorite, but current favorite, Drummond is just so incredible and incredibly important to what we're trying to achieve. As a team, he's just my ultimate glue guy, and obviously he's an overachieving glue guy. And I'll mention that in a premium article that I'm writing about everyone's glue guys, but it's just, if you've watched the games, Drummond just covers a lot of holes. And obviously he's the league leading rebounder pretty much. If you look at how many minutes he plays compared to Ayton, who I think's officially leading, but he's a monster. He's a 2K Hall of Famer. It was so critical to get him back. Obviously, McGee looks great as well. I don't think it's a miss to have one or the other, just to have one of those big 2K royalty guys. And Drummond's he's been amazing. So I think our team goes as far as he goes. So it's interesting to have two megastars, but I think Drummond's probably our most important guy, which is really weird to say based on who they are in the real basketball world. But this is 2K, this is NSL. So Drummond has been incredible. Pirtle, very understated, but he does exactly what we wanted him to do. So we've got Pirtle, 26 minutes a game, over 10 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, 1.5 assists, awful free throw shooting, which is expected, but great field goal. And he's just is an ultimate big guy role player. I think a lot of what he does doesn't show up statistically, um, but he just alters a lot of shots and protects the paint really, really well. And to round out the starting five, my most improved player candidate, Josh Richardson, who's cooled off, but it seems like the league's just the percentages are just sliding lately, and our team's just refining their defense and it's getting better, meaning worse shots. The 2K rhythm, and I've said this publicly, just seems to be have changed significantly. So he all of a sudden can't shoot, but he still plays really great defense, great playmaker, and obviously great size at the point guard. But he's someone who might have to move to the bench and see if we can get that efficiency back up. To my bench mob, Cam Reddish, who has been fantastic. He's averaging nearly 11 points a game, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and he's a little bit like Pirtle. A lot of the things he does really well don't show up as stats, but he's an absolute ball hawk defender. He's so tall and so quick in the game. He shoots 38%, which is probably above average for a guard in NSL, but it's more the fact that he gets to the line almost 4 times a game and makes 3 of those. So that really helps bump his efficiency up. He's been fantastic. He's a guy who I'd love to keep, but if I'm going to make any further moves, I just have very limited salary that I can move. So maybe he's a guy, but otherwise I'm happy with him. I think his floor in 2K is so high, and just hopefully he finds that right spot in the NBA. Still very young. Torrey Craig, who was literally salary, didn't know anything about it, what he does in 2K, but was brought in as salary with a 2nd-round pick, just so I had some more salary to play with when I have to make some future deals like the LeBron deal. Yeah, he's been really good. Very similar statistics to Reddish. Probably a better playmaker, better 3-point shooter, and a little bit like Richardson. His efficiency has just really dived lately. So it's a bit disappointing, but he still does a lot of great things in 2K. Nerlens Noel, he's played every single game. He's so great defensively. 22 minutes a game, 6.2 boards, 1.3 blocks, 1 steal. Obviously giving nothing on offense, but that's just not his role. And the real surprise packet was Luke Cornett. So 1.6 blocks a game, 5.5 rebounds, and he's really found a spot in the NBA on the best team in the NBA, the Boston Celtics. So he's getting some exposure. He's playing some great minutes, and he's really tall. So that's very, very handy when it comes to 2K basketball. But the rest, I'm really happy with the depth. RJ Hampton's solid. He's played some spot starts. Boggs played 4 games, Bogdan, so not really much to comment on there, other than I love his fit and the spacing and the playmaking. Keita Bates-Diop, Morris, just really tough, solid defenders to just round the depth out. Dacian Nix is my long-term project, and Ken Birch, big man depth, but solid 2K big who I'm really trying to find a home for. So if you need a big man cheap, he's got to be moved week 8, week 9. It won't take much. Yeah, so state of the team in terms of Portland, happy. We've cycled through 3 or 4 playbooks, and as I said, we've had a different starting lineup every single week, mostly just due to the unavailability of some players. Now, when I look at the conference, obviously Spurs have been thrashing everybody, winning by an average of 23 points. Wolves, who I think are the second, are in the top 3 or 4 teams, in the NSL. They're without their best player, and they've still got I'm going to say 4th best record. There's a crop of teams all around that 18-6, 17-7 record. And if he had LaMelo Ball, I think he'd be above that. So the chemistry is just insane, and they always play their way, and their bigs and their defense. It's just easy for them to control the tempo of the game. You got Denver, who, yeah, are doing really well this season, and they've Sabonis seems to have been a great ad, and they've lost Steph for a little while, so they just need to stay afloat while he misses a few weeks. Houston, we touched on. Well, the league's sort of commented on that Houston's made a bit of a jump. Memphis have made huge trades this year. On paper, probably the most talented team along with the Pels. Does it all fit together? I think Roots is very good at this, so I think he will make it work. Clippers, what a surprise, and just great to see Andrews a part of the community. Yeah, really, really cool roster. Very young, very versatile. I still don't know how you can trade Giannis, but he's bounced back really well, and he seems to be really happy. The team's humming along, so great job, Andrew. Pels are just going to climb. And yeah, it's really that top 8 seems very, very set so far in the West. So Kings, I'm praying for you. Kings and the Oklahoma City Thunder just sitting on the fringe there. So state of the West, I think you can bang on all you want about the best conferences. There's a lot of talk about East. It's mostly just Josh. I still think the big dogs are in the West until proven otherwise. It's been that way for the first 3 seasons. But yeah, lots of winning going on. There's a lot of winning teams and really, really competitive on the standings, especially in the East. You've got 3.5 games separating 6th and 1st. And then you've got Brooklyn, who are currently 15th in the East, just 4 games behind the play-in spot. So it's really a lot of movement can be had and made if teams find some winning form. So that's great. Trading is pretty dead. I've found it really hard to even find one being a manager who's sort of what's the word I was looking for? In an active state of mind when it comes to trading, instead of just sort of being like, oh, hey, this is available. I think it's just a lot of teams who have a direction right now and are sticking to it, which is good. It just makes it harder to trade, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a change. And that's compounded when you've got the new trading restrictions that have come in as well. Makes it more interesting. Makes trading more meaningful, perhaps. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it goes in a couple of weeks when most of the players are freed up to be added together and traded. We will see. Storylines, what are we looking at? We've got, I'd say 25, 26 teams actively trying to win, which would be a high watermark for the league. Yeah, Knicks 8-2. If they ever get their team healthy, they're going to push up, I'd say, above Chicago. Boston have won 9 out of their last 10. I'm guessing he's barely even looked at his team, so that's just on talent alone. I'm guessing the coaching is fairly minimal at this point, and it's just an organic ecosystem of really talented young players playing together. Atlanta, they wouldn't like being 8-16. Is it just injuries? Do they have the right mix? Same with Charlotte, 9-15. Hard to imagine them being in the 12th spot based on the last few seasons of winning 60-plus games. But long way to go. And you've seen it in the NBA. Everyone was writing the Brooklyn Nets off in the NBA first few weeks, and now they're almost best record in the NBA. So you just have to figure it out before the playoffs and hope you've given yourself enough chance to get a good seeding spot. Yeah, Miami climbing, which Pete would be very happy about, and that's credit to him persevering through a lot of the injuries. Detroit really recovered. They were in last spot, I'd say, 3 weeks ago. Whereas the West bottom tier seems more settled. I can't imagine at this point Warriors, Suns, Lakers, Mavs, or Utah climbing into that play-in spot. I think that's Kings and Thunder are locked in there for now, which most of those bottom 5 teams would be happy about, but 2 of them don't have their picks, so they need to get a move on. Yeah, as I said, hasn't been much action. Hopefully trying to close a couple of trades just to restructure my team a little bit, just to give myself a little bit more cover over a couple of positions. Obviously, with Durant and LeBron, the wings are pretty set. I'm happy with Craig. I'm happy with Reddish as backups. Yeah, just a little bit of tinkering. And that's pretty much it. Um, Otherwise, have an incredible holidays if you've got some time off. Hit me up if you'd like to do a pod in the next week or two or three. I've got a little bit of time, so yeah, please, if you want to talk NSL, talk about your teams, the headlines, the things that need to happen, that should happen, that could happen. Yeah, hit me up. And once again, thanks to everyone who makes this league such a fun staple in my life, and such a fun way to be competitive and to love basketball with a community of people that feel the same way. Thanks to the admins who, yeah, continue to run and innovate the league. Your efforts, at least by me, are really appreciated. And I know, even if it's not said, I know that everyone I talk to is very grateful. So thank you very much. Go Blazers. Take care, everybody. Bye.